What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Rexx Ruger, watching my back, as always, the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids, and we ain't about to change it now. Before we get to it, of course, I must be off in the room. You're looking at the smoldering good looks, the luscious blonde locks. Yes, you are looking at the one and only love child of one, Diamond David Lee Roth. Now it's out there. We can get down to brass tacks. My guest is here. I'm excited about this one. So let's get down to brass tacks. Whatever the hell that term even means, but I like it. John, how are you, man?
All right, yeah.
I appreciate you doing this, man. Yeah. I appreciate you. I'm glad we got a chance to move it up a little bit earlier, man. The time difference, I'm glad I wasn't able to make you have to, do it so late.
No, it's cool. It's all cool with me.
I get confused by these time differences very easy. You know what I mean? I've done over 700 episodes. I have two separate podcasts. I got the music one and then I have a boxing one. And it always blows my mind, man, that I've had people on from Australia. Like I could be talking to someone from Australia and it's already the next fucking day for them,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's early evening here.
Yeah. And it's very snowy. I'm in upstate New York, man, and we are getting hammered today.
Oh yeah? Oh nice.
Oh yeah.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem is, I think, if because it's the Christmas period. If you because of the time difference, if somebody started on the sauce a bit early, then you're going to have you might have a bit of a Lon Chaney Jr. type
right
kind of deal. So.
Yeah. But I appreciate you doing this. And as I said, because I've done so many of these episodes, I do often start the episodes by asking, because it is a common backstory with a lot of people that get into the arts, that they come from homes where maybe a lot of records are being played. They're immersed in music. Maybe their parents are musically inclined. Was any of this the case for you?
Yeah, I was kind of like brought up with a lot of music.
Okay.
With believe it or not, the Beatles, jazz music, my folks were born in the war, in the Second World War, so they were into the 60s thing. So a bit of folk music I think was popular at the time during the late 60s, early 70s, and so we'd have to listen to that. And I've got an older sister, and she fortunately started getting into things like Joy Division and stuff like that, and it was a bit of a reaction against all that stuff.
Why did you have very strict parents, man? Like, were they into into watching what type of music you were listening to?
Not really. Not when I went to see Venom on their I think it was 1985 at the Birmingham Odeon, and I was encouraged to go and see them.
Oh, that's not.
I think they'd lost all hope by then. That I was you kind of like academic.
Threw in the towel. Yeah.
I mean, they were teachers, but they. I remember. My mother had Afghan coats.
Yeah.
I think if your parents have had Afghan coats, I think they've been open. Probably in the past they've been open-minded enough, perhaps.
Right, well, sure.
In the 60s, to understand that they've got like a more of an artistic taste in their as a child.
You see an Afghan coat, that person's probably going to be supportive of a career in the arts.
That's it. There's a slight element of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But so there's a big difference between listening to that music though and ending up doing the type of music that you are known for playing. Was that a gradual progression towards heavy stuff? Do you remember the first really what would be deemed proper extreme metal that you heard?
Well, yeah, it was the first. I mean, I came in from the punk.
Yeah, right.
Things. I was listening to bands like Crass and Dead Kennedys and stuff like that, which was kind of, it challenged the orders of society, at the time. So, but with the way things happened. You know, at the same time, I like, you know, there was Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. And
Yep.
stuff, that was very popular. So anything that challenged the authorities, I quite liked. And I suppose Ozzy Osbourne, Motorhead were the first things I heard in the metal and rock world. And then it was Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard Venom, it was like, yeah, they hit the net, they hit the spot just right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I actually started getting interested in, you know, I wanted to play bass at the time, and I think they were the ones that, influenced me enough to take up music.
And now, why the bass, though? Because I've had other bass players on here, and I've often heard the same story, that sometimes the instrument that you end up playing ends up choosing you rather than you choosing the instrument. Sometimes the bass, while very important in a band, and I'm not a musician myself, but I understand the importance of the bass holding down the low end, you know, me propelling the beat in the song. But it's not always looked at as the most glamorous position in the band. Often
this is it, yeah.
People want to be the front man, or they want to be the shredder. You know, what was resonating with you in terms of the bass?
Well, as I say, I came in from the punk here, so
right. Like, it's very important.
Lemmy, Kronos.
Yeah,
that was kind of like the thing, you know.
Yeah, those guys glamorized it. Yeah, I can see that.
No kind of Geddy Lee, kind of, or Jaco Pastorius. You know, I've never heard of them.
Right. But ultimately, though, you do end up as a guitar player. So, do you remember what age you got a guitar in your hands?
Yeah, I was about 16, 17. 17. I'd love to know the date. It was around then, but it was my friend Ian Buchanan. He was playing guitar and I was playing bass, and we switched instruments.
Okay. Just decided
to go. Well, we looked at our, like, because I'm a little guy and he was quite a big, stocky guy, and I thought, well, bass would suit him more.
Yeah.
And the guitar would look more on me, you know.
Yeah.
So it was more of a, you know, a cosmetic,
an image thing.
Really. Yeah. So
hey,
you kind of like played the same.
Yeah. I never quite heard that before. Hey, you know what, man? You wear the bass better than I do.
He was a good, you know, he can like wear a rugby shirt and you know, fill it out where, you know, it looks a bit daft on me.
Yeah, right.
Like a scrawny git, you know. So
do you remember how you put the band? Together? I mean, what was the impetus? What was the seed that got planted, man? You know, do you remember those early days of Cancer?
Yeah, I remember the first rehearsal.
Okay.
It wasn't a rehearsal, it was a jam. And we went to this little village in the town of Telford in the Midlands in England.
Okay.
Where there's this, I actually knew the bloke who built it, but it was this kind of like council run kind of set of rooms. And we went there and I had a Marshall amp and a cab.
Yeah.
Carl had his drum kit and Ian had the bass. And within 40 minutes, you know, anything that resembled any order quickly got dismissed. And we were just like trying to make a noise, literally just trying to make a noise.
Yeah.
My amplifier kind of went into Chernobyl meltdown.
Yeah.
I took it to the shop to be repaired and they were like, sorry. It was all like, one of the transformers had kind of like melted in, like got in all the workings.
Yeah, that's a hell of a jam session.
Yeah, well, I had to use a bass amp after that.
But you know you're onto something when you're melting fucking instruments in your jam session. I mean,
that was it, you know.
Yeah.
As an omen, you know.
Yeah, it's an omen right there. But not necessarily when you're playing that kind of music. Not necessarily a bad omen. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah. And so, do you remember when you guys first got together, man? And obviously, To the Gory End, was your debut album. Can you remember back to what the creative process was like? Were you guys a very collaborative bunch, or was somebody kind of taking the reins with the creative stuff?
Well, I think we all kind of put our all in.
Okay.
The guitarist, I've always been quite, more of a creative guitarist than a shredder, to be honest. I'm a writer. So I've always been interested in songwriting, but it was more of a collaborative thing.
Yeah.
And it was usually, strangely enough, where we lived in in the UK, there's not a great deal to do.
Yeah.
You go to the pub, you go to the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you set the instruments up and go, like, come on then, let's go.
Yeah.
So you go to the bar, and then you go back, and you're like, come on, let's thrash it out. And it was like order out of chaos, the Freemason motto. Like some things kind of like cohesively came together.
Right.
The things that didn't just got left behind, type of thing.
And in your guitar journey, were there lessons involved, or would you consider yourself self-taught?
I was taught by the great masters of metal, actually.
Okay.
Which is Tony Iommi and Tom Warrior.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
So I used to listen to those records and try and work out. So I thought, like with the original power chord and fifth chords that everybody starts with.
Yep.
They played kind of like at a pace or a time that I could understand and kind of get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I came from that punk kind of thing as well. So I remember when Voivod came out with Killing Technology and Raw, the one before it, and I loved all that stuff as well. Taking that influence in, so breaking out of the rock format.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about punk too is that it always was it always was a little loose and sloppy, though. You know what I mean? But that's what was endearing about it.
Yeah. Well, I bands like Killing Joke, they were, listening. Metal people listen to him. The headbangers listen to him in the UK.
Yeah.
And so there was that coexistence. Like I think with grindcore, which kind of like grew out of this crossover. I remember crossover. The Crumb Suckers.
Yep.
Like that,
yeah, sure. Like DRI. Yeah, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it was all music back then. That was it. And, so I forgot what I was talking about.
But so as a guy who is also a vocalist, your instrument, your voice is also an instrument too. Doing extreme metal. Are you a guy over the years that has ascribed to any type of vocal care regimen, or you just get up there and belt it out?
Oh, I do warm up.
Okay.
I take in 35 years ago, when we started, upsetting people, it was basically a couple of beers, if you like, and a load of cigarettes. That was the preparation. But over the time now, I kind of look after it. Especially I've got consecutive concerts, because there's nothing worse than having a sore throat on tour. So if it's fire the monitor, man, if the vocals aren't
right. But you're not necessarily encouraging young vocalists to go to the beer and cigarette route, though. It's not.
No, I'm not actually. I'd actually avoid that if possible, because the beer kind of makes you think that you're doing the good job anyway, and
clouds the judgment a little bit.
And the cigarettes restrict lung capacity.
They do.
You don't realise that, but if you're belting it out from your diaphragm, that's the last thing you need is a restricted lung capacity. Mind you, some smokers do.
So you are an ex-cigarette. So you're a former cigarette smoker.
Oh, I gave up.
I am as well.
It was about 14 years ago.
Yeah, just about there for me too. I think I'm about 16 years. 2009, somewhere around there. I stopped. 2008, 2009.
Yeah, I was on like 2 or 3 cigarettes a day. I went down gradually and gradually.
Kicking and screaming. It's a hard habit, though. I think people that haven't ever smoked don't realize, that often, like when you're thinking of addictive substances, people go immediately to, harder drugs or whatever, but they don't really realize the potency and how addictive nicotine really is.
It is, yeah. anything that gives you a buzz can be addictive.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, here in Spain, we've got this fantastic coffee,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that can be quite addictive as well,
Yeah. Now, how do you make the move to Spain, man? What was the impetus for moving to Spain?
Oh, yeah, my wife's Spanish.
Okay. Okay.
And we met. I moved 20 years ago.
Okay. So you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
Beautiful country.
Yeah, I live in Madrid, which is kind of like an international city. So
Sure.
you can get by with a bit of the lingo. You don't have to.
Yeah. So what was the biggest adjustment? Would you say, going from England to Spain?
Things that I would say are funny in the comedy in the UK are just not funny at all. They're not only that, they're not really appreciated either.
Right.
So, and I'm quite politically incorrect, and I think I still watch comedy that's politically incorrect, and I find it even more funny that it's politically incorrect.
Yeah. Doesn't go over as well over there.
Well, this is it. I mean, they've got a few politically incorrect films, things, but I've noticed over the years they don't show them quite so often.
And I think it's much more appreciated in England. You know what I mean? Like, to take one of your phrases, you know what I mean? Like, I think the English are a bit more cheeky. You know what I mean? Like, I like the way that they're a little more like, they're a little bit quicker to wit and sarcasm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was Friday night for us was the comedy night.
Yeah.
So we'd have Father Ted. Do you know Father Ted?
I'm familiar with it. Not familiar with it where I know a lot about it, but yes,
it's hilarious because it kind of completely mocks Catholicism.
Right.
Set in Ireland in a Quintopino type thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny and bizarre. Then we had Friends. Then we had Frasier. Then we had South Park. So there was a reason not to go to the pub at that
time. Keep you home. Yeah.
And if with a bit of happy cabbage in your pipe, you can't gripe.
Right. You'd be laughing all night. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm curious to get your take, though. I know I talked about the band's creative process early on, but what's your own individual process like? Like, when you're going to write some music, and I've had two schools of thought on here, and I've heard from guests on here that there are people that like to sit down and treat it like a job. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to create some music. Or there's people that are where the creativity is happening spontaneously throughout the day, where they're getting ideas and they're maybe jotting it into their a pad or into their phone. How do you like to work? How's creativity come to you?
I have to be in the mood.
Okay.
I have to be in the mood. So I start in the morning, and it's different times of the day are my inspirational envelopes of opportunity.
Okay.
It's very strange, but basically I would say around about Thursday, Friday, it starts getting a bit tough, but a good day's Tuesday when I'm in a good mood.
Okay.
But I've got a bit of angst as well.
Yeah.
I can usually get something going, but it comes out partly from accident.
Okay.
I don't like contrived stuff. I like something where I like, a bit of a mistake there. Actually, it sounds better like that than
So, well, you know what? I think that I think that train of thought kind of behooves itself to that punk rock mentality.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it opens the opportunity.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
If you keep an open mind, it's quite good. But I don't really I can tell when I'm writing and it's contrived or it's forced. And I don't like it at all. There's no point.
And so, in your mind, how is a good song usually spawned? Like, what comes first for you? Is it usually a title, an opening line, a riff?
A riff with a lyric.
Okay.
Or not even a lyric, a vocal pattern.
Okay. Right.
And I think, that's all right.
Yeah.
And it's usually from fooling about on the guitar, or, you know, if I sit down and say, right, I'm going to write a song. Yeah, I can write a song, but yeah, it lacks that kind of like quirky, spontaneous something.
It's rock and roll. It's supposed to be a little on the loose side, you know? I mean, it's And so where do you stand on like the use of like technology in creating music? Like, nowadays we're hearing all about like you know, and I'm not a musician again, so but I see a lot of bands now really getting beat up on social media where people are filming them in concert saying they're using backing tracks, they're using this, they're using that, they're using this trick, they're using that trick.
Oh wait, we had some kind of intro things on an MP3, you know, like bells at the start of Death Shall Rise, or like that, and then we stopped using it, you know. And no, it's very old school. It's just we don't even use the Kempers or anything. We use proper like Class A power amps. And
you guys are doing it old school. Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to writing music, going back to the writing music, I've got this incredible studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a Marshall Valve State 1990s combo.
Yeah.
Boss box of my tuner, the box that it came in, with a dictaphone leaning towards the amplifier, and I press the chord and then I play until I get something, and then I flag it, and then so I do it absolutely old school, and it's spontaneous.
I love that. I love that, man. Yeah, I love the fact that I love here. I mean, I'm 53 years old, so I love when bands are keeping it old school. I'm from that generation where, you know, much like you, where we didn't grow up with all this technology, you know.
Yeah. Well, the problem is for me, I can't really do technology. So by the time I've got it set up, I've lost the idea in my head anyway. So it's got anything going.
Yeah,
it's more of a case of actually playing the riff. Oh, that sounds good, and trying to time it so I can kind of press record while I'm playing. That's the difficult bit, you know. I wish there was a foot switch, you know. But it's as old school as that. And I've tried it with, you know, 4 tracks. I've tried it with computers and stuff like that. And my son's pretty good with all that because he was born and brought up, you know.
It's a generational thing. It is.
But for me, the song, it's that thing that it starts with a good seed. Now, where do you stand on, because obviously there's been so many changes in the industry, and obviously people's attention spans aren't what they used to be, and people are consuming music very differently nowadays. Where you talk about your old school stance on creating music. How about releasing music? I know a lot of people are back to singles, or they're releasing shorter bodies of work because people aren't paying as much attention anymore. EPs. Did you still love putting out an LP? Yeah, well, we put out the Inverted World at the start of the year, and since we've been promoting that, I've been writing again. You know. I don't know. You know, I'd rather put out an album, and if it takes a long time or people have forgotten, so be it. You know, it's the music that matters. It's what comes out of the speakers. You know, to try and keep relevant, to try and keep desperate and play that game. I'm 57, you know. I missed the bus really on that front. So I love that mentality, though. I love what you just said right there, though, because I think that is a lot of the impetus as to why people are doing the singles and the EPs, because they are afraid, with so much music being released out there, of not being relevant and trying to stick in people's minds. I like that you're just kind of throwing that out the window and saying, I'm not going to be consumed with worrying about that. Well, it's out of my head. It is. You know, it really is. Yeah. You know, I mean, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to put out an album, and people are still going to do what they're going to do. They're going to go take the tracks that they like, and they're going to put them on their individual playlist that they made up, or they're going to just listen to the songs that resonate the most with them. And, you know, regardless of what format you're putting it out in, that's what they're going to do. Yeah. You can't control it. No, it's it's what pop bands do, isn't it? Pop bands did. Yeah.
I mean, we're back to that kind of, and so you made a great point. Inverted World came out early this year. It's 10 songs, 44 minutes. Do you guys sit around and talk about how many songs or how many minutes you want an album to come in at? Is that a discussion that you guys have as a band? How long an album?
Not at all. The discussion of the band is where we're going to record.
Okay.
Who we're going to get in, to do some guest vocals or whatever of that.
Okay.
We're going to do this, but I go into the rehearsal room with basic, fully written songs.
Yeah.
And for the album, sometimes for me, it's like an art. It's not what you put in; it's what you leave out.
Yeah.
With Inverted World, I was really pleased how cohesive the songwriting became on that, and how I left out a lot of unnecessary, passages as they know. And I thought the intervals were interesting as well musically. So,
how do you decide what gets left out and what stays in?
Basically, I write for myself. I don't worry about anybody else. I write for myself, and if I'm listening to it over a period of time and I've taken on the project, if I start getting bloody bored or getting like, oh fucking hell, that sounds shit, it's like, oh, let's just get rid of that and do another song.
Yeah.
So every album I do, I kind of scrap 5 or 6 songs.
Okay, so what happens to those songs that get scrapped, though, man? Like, will you flesh them out at another time?
Sometimes the influence of, I think, wow, have I played something like that before? And then I go, no, I haven't. And there's obviously, there might have been some kind of influence, a bit of deja vu.
Yeah.
It's if that spark of, usually you get one riff, if there's a spark of ingenuity or creativity in it, all the other parts will come quite naturally. Right.
So those songs don't necessarily, those songs could resurface again, though.
I think you might hear tales of riffs, or but no kind of concept of lyric ideas. I scrapped 3 versions of Amputate before I used the final version, and I've got no intention of ever recycling those.
Okay.
Be awful.
And so when you go into the studio, like we'll use Inverted World for an example. The final album has 10 songs. Do you come into the studio with more than 10 songs, and then you cut it down to 10? And how do you decide what makes the album? Do you guys put it to a vote, or?
No, we just had 10 songs for Inverted World.
Okay. So you just write. So you only write what you need.
For that album, yes. For the previous one, Shadow Gripped, 12 songs were written.
Okay.
And went on the album, and then 2 got used for the Ball Cutter EP.
Okay. And so as a guitar player, going back to when you started playing guitar, are there a couple names that come to your mind immediately that you feel like have maybe impacted your approach to the instrument or your style of playing?
Geordie Walker from Killing Joke. He was very, very influential. I was absolutely devastated when he left us.
Yeah.
And later on I kind of got into acoustic guitar players.
Yep.
People like Bert Jansch.
Okay.
Davey Gray and people like that. And so I've kind of got like I don't really listen to very much in the way of metal players.
I hear that a lot from metal players. Yeah.
And I saw when I played a festival in Poland during the end of the summer, and I saw David Vincent, and I was talking to him about his like country music project that he's got. I was like, I quite like that, So I don't know. I kind of like that type of thing when it comes to guitar players now. But the old, I say most of the guitar players from the mid 80s in the metal scene, from James Hetfield, as I said, Tom Warrior.
Yeah.
You know, these people that had a certain sound to the way they played.
So could you see yourself playing or starting a project that is non-metal? You know, I mean, do you have an interest in having any side projects, or are you a guy that just likes to be in one band and that's your band?
I did many years ago. I did some acoustic things in a pub. You know, because I used to teach guitar. Guitar for a while, and you know, it was when Green Day and The Offspring were popular.
Yeah.
2000s around then, and I went out and I was playing a lot of acoustic guitar actually in pubs, but they were kind of instrumental pastiches, and you know, it was like people having a glass of wine or a beer or two, but you know, there's once the rock and roll bug's in you, you know that.
Yeah.
You know, I need a bit of the electric guitar really in the end, I found.
And so did you find when you got into the creative arts that your parents were, you know, because obviously if you're going to take that route as a profession, it can be very speculative. I mean, it's a long shot being successful in it. You know, did you have anybody that kind of tried to steer you away from it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, were your parents supportive? Because obviously sometimes you hear parents aren't so happy to hear that their kids want to become musicians or actors or anything in the arts, because you know, it often can be a long shot.
No, they were quite supportive.
Okay.
I have to say they were quite supportive when especially when the group got signed.
Yeah.
And I think it was when we did Black Faith, when we did that album, because it was a video, and you know, we were on MTV, and you know, Dad was like, he was quite proud of it. I think, you know, he was like, you know, wow, at last, you know, you know, something.
Yeah. Now talk to me a little bit about how, and I know he wasn't in the band for very long, but how do you make the correlation, and how do you meet James Murphy? I've had James on the podcast a couple times. Love him.
Yeah, Jimbo. Yeah,
love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I met him when he was playing in Obituary at the Dome in Tufnell Park in London. We were supporting them.
Okay.
We did a show with them, and he was quite, you know, approachable chap at the time. I was, you know, and so we were a three-piece at the time, and we'd already done an album with Scott Burns, but we recorded it in Wales in about 4 days.
Okay.
And so we kind of got to know him after, you know, because John Tardy did the backing vocals on a song called Die Die on the first album.
Yeah.
And obviously when the promoter was putting out the Obituary show in London, we got on the bill. So we got to meet James. And a few months later, we went to Florida to Morristown to record our second album. We've written all the songs, and we went in. I was putting a couple of leads down, and James was asked if he wanted to do some guest solos. And I think he did the. I know which solos he did. He did the solos to Hung, Drawn and Quartered, and he did the solos for Back from the Dead.
Yep.
And I remember watching him playing these solos. Like, you bugger, you make it look so easy.
Yeah, he does.
And it was like, and my solos with Cat Stranglers. Really, you could take a blowtorch to the pickups and sound. So, anyway, he ended up doing the rest of the solos and did a few tours with us.
Yeah.
He stopped at my flat when I lived in England.
Yeah.
So I had a tiny flat in a place called Brookside in Telford. And he stopped there for about a few months. He stopped. And we listened to Paradise Lost Gothic album quite a lot. I remember that. We were listening to the first couple of Black Sabbath albums a lot as well.
Yeah. So, he's a great player. He really is.
He is, and he was watching him play. and he nobody can play like him.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I asked him about that. I had him on the podcast a couple months ago, was the last time I had him on. And I asked him about that too, because I feel like in the extreme metal world, a person's tone doesn't necessarily jump out at you, but his does. You know what I mean? You can tell when he's playing.
Yeah, he's very articulate.
Yeah, he's got a distinct sound. He does. Yeah,
he has, and he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible guitar player.
Yeah. And now, when you put out a new album, are you a big one for? I know you said you're not really big into the technology. Are you somebody that will go on and look at feedback and criticism? Like when you put out a new album, will you go on and look and see what people are saying about it?
Well, scroll down and see the one that makes me a narcissist. No, I don't pay any attention.
That's probably healthy.
I'm too long in the tooth.
That's probably healthy. That's probably mentally healthy. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, what I mean,
what are you going to do?
Reviewing the reviewer.
Yeah. Right. Right.
No, I'm just happy. I do it if I'm happy with it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Inverted World, I was really happy with the way
and you should be. It's an amazing album. It is. Yeah. And so what's your relationship like right now with because you did mention that you're in your 50s. What's your relationship like now with touring? I mean, obviously there's an amazing aspect where you get to go and see different parts of the world, but it probably is difficult sometimes to tear yourself away from your creature comforts and being attached to home. How much touring do you like to do? What's your relationship like with it right now?
I'm good after 3 days.
Yeah.
The first 3 days, I'm a bit of a miserable cunt.
Yeah.
And I take it out on the band members like a spoilt bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really horrible to them for the first 3 days, but then afterwards, I really get into it. And if the rider is honoured and we're having a good time, I'm happy. And I mean, it depends. I mean, we did a 10 date tour, and that was about just right for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon I could do 2 or 3 weeks. But then I'd have to go back home.
I tend to hear that. I tend to hear that number a lot for some reason. Musicians come on here and they say about 3 weeks is kind of the threshold. Yeah.
Well, I think in the stateside, you need at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Ent into the territory.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2 weeks covers Europe quite adequately.
Right. So when how soon? I know you talked about your Inverted World comes out and you're already starting to write again. In today's musical world, and again, we talked about it. Getting projects out, staying relevant. That wasn't a concern of yours. But how soon do you think about the next album? And when would you like to have new music out?
When I've written the material that will stand up to the last album. And I'm really happy with it. And I'm a fussy git. I really am fussy.
Okay.
So if I'm satisfied, then it'll come out. And
so you are pretty hard on yourself.
Well, yeah, there's nothing worse than putting out stuff that you're not behind.
Right.
And it's the song that matters. I've become more of a songwriter.
Yeah.
Than anything in this, and it's the bit I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, touring is all right after 3 days.
Yeah, after you settle in.
The writing thing is something that I'm kind of like a lot more interested in. It's that bit that I do like, and if it takes 5 years, it takes 5 years. I can't help it, but I'm not going to put out something just for the sake of it.
Yeah. But that's probably good though, man. Because obviously, there's such an influx of music being put out nowadays on the streaming platforms that it does seem like sometimes people aren't very prudent when they're putting stuff out. They're just, as you said earlier, they're just putting stuff out to stay relevant.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I mean, I don't know. No, it's very strange, that is, isn't it? It's very
It
strange.
is. It is. Yeah. I think people are sometimes just putting music out just because almost just because they can, because
Yeah.
it's that easy to do nowadays. But I mean, yeah, because you probably remember too. There used to be a formula back in the day. At least I feel like where a band would put an album out and then they would tour and they would promote that album, and it would be like 2 or 3 years before you got the next album from your favorite band.
Yeah, yeah. You get to see him live or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the odd EP, a
Right.
live album,
Yeah. Yeah.
live DVD.
Yep. Yeah. You got all that stuff in between. Yeah. Before you got the right.
Yeah, so make the record company work. But,
Yeah, made the record company work. Yeah. Now, forgive me for not knowing this, but are you guys a DIY band or are you guys on a label right now?
we're on Peaceville,
Okay. Okay.
Peaceville Records,
Okay.
and for the last two, actually, for Inverted World and Shadow Gripped, and
Okay.
they bought the rights for the first 3 albums as well.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the job that they're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't complain.
Yeah. Well, because that's not an easy thing nowadays, man. There's a lot of bands that aren't even on labels that are doing a lot of the promoting and stuff themselves or whatever. So it's not like a given anymore. You know what I mean? It's almost more looked at like a luxury nowadays to have label support.
Yeah, well, it's with Peaceville. They put out nice vinyls, and
Yeah.
they're trying to, I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit, because I'm old school. I quite like, it's highly collectible vinyls.
Yeah.
Records, and
Yeah.
I still like I like something to buy.
Yeah. It's something to look at, something to read. Yeah.
Well, I mean, back then, when I was into metal and getting into the extreme metal scene when it started, it was tape trading.
Yeah.
The old tapes. You
Yeah.
chew
Yeah.
up make a mess of your tape recorder, and you tape trade. And if there was an album that you really liked, you heard, you think, well, I'm going to buy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because then the tape became obsolete, and you go and buy the record,
Yep.
poster and the gatefold sleeve.
Yep. I know. Yeah. I remember I remember opening up and it just pouring over those liner notes, just reading everything back in the day.
Yeah. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good.
You read the lyrics, you read who the band was thanking. Sometimes you found out about other bands, and who those guys were into.
Thanks list.
Yeah.
Shirts, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the thanks list, but the thanks list and bands that were on the band's label or bands that they toured with or bands that they were friends with is kind of the way that I found out about a lot of music, though.
Yeah.
I'd find out like, wow, hey, if James Hetfield is thanking these guys, I got to go out and find out who these guys are.
Exactly.
I
mean, look at the Misfits.
Right.
And
yeah.
They got a lot of acclaim once the T-shirts were worn.
Yeah, they sure did.
To be honest, I came from the punk background. I hadn't heard of the Misfits.
Yeah.
In the UK, I'd heard of the Damned.
Right.
The Misfits toured with.
Yeah.
But so, but when I heard the Misfits, I was like, wow, this is my type of band.
Now you guys were there, I would say pretty early on, man. Like To the Gory End, if I'm not mistaken, came out around like 1990, man. So you guys were pretty much there, pretty close at the beginning of when death metal was really taking off. What do you remember from back in that time about your peers? You know what I mean? Like, do you remember who else was kind of really flying the flag for death metal around that time?
What bands?
Yeah. Obviously, Chuck Schuldiner and Death, right? They were still around.
Yeah, Chuck was doing stuff. Yeah, I liked Morbid Angel.
Yep.
And because we knew David Vincent, because he signed to Earache and he was over, and we were actually in the studio at Morris Sound when they were finishing the Blessed of the Sick.
Yeah, which is an amazing album. Yeah,
exactly. It was great to rub shoulders with them and with them. Deicide, love those guys as well. Always got along with Glenn.
Yep.
He's got an infectious character.
Yep.
And so those are the bands that I liked. There was Obituary as well.
Yeah.
In the UK, we knew Carcass.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The day and Anything else? The band's Benediction, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Godflesh. We played with Godflesh.
Yeah. And when you look back at that first album, well, first of all, when you look back at your career, again, you being an old school guy, I think you probably wouldn't have any. But do you look back at your career with any regrets?
Not really.
I've had guys on here who wish they'd had maybe more albums out or more of a discography, or maybe they had played out more, or maybe they, took a misstep here or there. Do you look back with any regret?
No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, for every shit things that's happened to me, good things that happened to me.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
Yeah.
I'm living in Spain. I've got a nice wife.
Yeah.
I kind of done well for myself.
Yeah.
In that way.
Sure. Yeah.
Obviously the financial thing might have, a little bit more of that might have been thing, but for me, it's putting out good metal and not chinning. I think sometimes, I've heard it in the past where you need to cash in, you've got to set your stall up and all this. Well, yeah. If it's good at the time, then yeah, but to churn it out and just to fool your fans, nah.
Right. Was there ever any pressure at all, or either from labels or even even your own self thinking about tinkering or changing your sound? Obviously, there's been a lot of trends. There's been a lot of changes in the music business. Obviously, for a while, grunge got really big. There was a lot of bands that were tweaking and changing their sound. I mean, that's kind of difficult to do when your band is called Cancer. But I mean, was there ever any temptation to, maybe tweak the sound?
Yeah, well, this was the thing that going back to the Black Faith album.
Yeah,
this is the around then. A lot of bands wanted to try and, because I think death metal. It seemed like death metal was kind of like stagnating. 1994. It's kind of like something else was coming in.
Yeah.
And Cancer tried with Black Faith, but some people like that album,
Yeah.
For me, I'm not too keen on the vocals, and I like what's written on the tin to be what. If your band's, as you said, if your band's called Cancer, what are you supposed to sound like? Come on.
Right.
So I was asked actually by this French. It was an Italian magazine. He was a French journalist during the summer. It was last spring, and he said to me, because he loved the Inverted World. I mean, he gave us 5 stars.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, mate.
Yeah.
And he asked me. He said, what are your thoughts on popularity? Do you think you become more popular? I was like, what with a name like Cancer? I really think I'm going to get any. All I can do is just put the music out that I do.
Yeah.
I have to live with that.
Yeah, Cancer is one of those bands where, like, when you hear that name, man, you kind of know what you're going to get. But that's refreshing in a world sometimes, man, where everything isn't so black and white, though. You know what I mean? Like, it is nice to kind of have some honesty and at least know, okay, I'm going to press play on this and I know what I'm going to get. Now, sometimes that seems like a hard dichotomy for artists, because, and I don't know what your opinion of this would be, but it seems like when you're an artist, sometimes if you're staying consistent and you've adopted a certain sound, people applaud you for it. But then there's a certain demographic of people that will say, oh, the band never changes. They never evolve. So that's kind of a hard line to walk, right? When you're an artist, though, either people want you to stay the same and stay consistent, and then when you tweak your sound, they'll either say that you've sold out or that you've done something really innovative.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That's why it's best not to take any notice.
Right.
What he says.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
listen
like,
to
I mean,
music
like a
because
band like
otherwise-
Metallica. Obviously, a band like Metallica in the late '90s. Obviously, man, like some of their fans did not understand what they were doing with Load and Reload, and just around the time they cut their hair, and it seems like some of their fans had kind of checked out a little bit, and it wasn't the same Metallica. But then again, should they grow? Should they change their sound, or do people just want Master of Puppets over and over and over again?
Yeah,
It's hard.
it is. Yeah, I think that this is the thing with sometimes when the business comes in with the band, when they sign too many records,
Yeah.
and they say, "Well, we've got to do another album," and the management's going, "You've got to do another album." And
Yeah.
sometimes those ideas don't become as quirky or as spontaneous or as fresh.
Right.
And you listen, you go back to the first like AC/DC albums and the first Motorhead albums. There's not much variation. There's different songs.
Right.
Quirkiness. There's little things that you hear it there that you don't hear on each album. So, it is that fine line. It is that fine, but you don't want to churn it out, but you don't want to lose your fan base by putting out, a prog death album.
Right.
Bore them to death.
And so what are your own listening trends like? Like when you're around the house listening to music, or you're in your car listening to music, do you tend to listen to stuff that's old and familiar to you, or are you able to find new music that excites you, that you like?
Yeah. I heard some music when I was in Colombia, and I played Bogota, and it was because they were having the big festival when we were there, and they were playing some like the traditional, the music of Colombia, and I was loving it. So I like beats.
Yeah.
I like grooves, and I like to hear, bold melodies. And this type of things. So it can be anything.
Okay.
Anything. If it gets too busy, I don't like it then. Like I say, it's that fine line between, putting stuff in and leaving stuff out. And if I hear a song, even better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so again, getting back to new music, I know, you said you started to write. Do you have a timeline on like when people could expect a new Cancer album? I know this one just came out this year, but it is a different musical world right now. People, as we said a bunch of times in this interview, are putting out music on a different timeline nowadays. Should we expect something that maybe like every 2 years? What would you like the timeline to be?
Yeah, every yeah. I mean, it was like something like 6 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I hope it's not that long again.
Well, you make a good point. But you make a good point. Before Inverted World, your last full length was 2018, so that was 7 years. Was that deliberate?
Well, we had a lineup change.
Right.
We had a lineup change, and we had the COVID.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll be honest with you, I was still writing it. I was writing stuff that sounded too much like Shadow Gripped.
Okay.
And I wanted to do something different because there's no point in repeating it.
Right.
So, I need to do something different. So, when the fascist governments locked down Europe, gave us house arrest, and injected us, it kind of pissed that punk rock attitude kind of rejected all that a bit, as you probably could imagine.
Sure.
And that was a fine motivator to get writing.
Yeah.
That was the once that happened, I think it was about 9 months the music took.
Yeah.
It's the lyrics that take a long time for me.
So would you like to shoot for like, okay, so you put out Inverted World 2025. Would it be safe to say that you'd like to have a new Cancer album out 2027?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Okay.
Not 2037.
Not 2037, right? Not another 7 years.
Yeah, no, it's got to be less than that. Otherwise,
But you do make a good point, though, man. There was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of stuff swirling around, though, man. I mean, like, I think a lot of artists were, upended by COVID. Obviously, it derailed a lot of plans.
Yeah, well, if your sole income was earning from music, your government locks you down,
Yeah.
like you got your whole. I mean, we had a year's concerts cancelled.
Yeah.
It's just like that. There's no real compensation.
Right. And that's revenue just up and gone right out the window, So what will 2026 hold for you guys? Before I let you out of here, man, obviously we're coming into a new year. Obviously you'll continue to write, you'll continue to create new music. But do you guys have anything else planned for 2026? Will there be live shows?
Yeah, we're still working on the visas, but we're going to play the Maryland Death Fest.
Okay.
I think that's in May, isn't it?
Yeah.
They got Motoculture in France. They got us playing that.
Okay.
Big festival, which will.
Yeah.
And a few others. I'm not sure exactly what else, but there is a couple of other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did quite a lot during this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the year before that, we went to China and we played the Full Terror Assault.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
That was great fun.
Yeah.
That,
And now there is a lot of physicality when you're on stage playing death metal. You know what I mean? The drummer is doing a lot back there. There's headbanging, there's moving around. You know what I mean? There's really getting into the music. It can take a toll. I've talked to extreme metal drummers who have had to change the layout of their drums because of different little impingements and aches and pains and, people that headbang a lot. How has your own body held up over the years in terms of your own personal health?
Yeah. So, I'm okay. Yeah. I did have a problem in Latin America though.
Okay.
So what happened was I was in my hotel room and kind of chilling out.
Yeah.
And I was watching Van Halen Jump on my phone, the video.
Okay.
Love that song.
Yeah.
I was like, because I've done a lot of yoga and a lot of that type of stuff in my life. And I went to go and play, right? And I kept my sketches on. Anyway, I did the splits. This was like 10 minutes before we went on.
Okay.
David Lee Roth.
Sure.
I'd impress the band.
Yeah.
I basically pulled my hamstring and glute in my left leg. I was like sweating like a rapist in the dock. For 10 minutes, I went like white green, like this anemic look. Yeah, sweating, and then I had to go on stage and play, and I did it, standing on one leg.
Yeah, hey, the show must go on, right?
That too, but it was just like 10 minutes before I went on. It was like, oh, could have timed that. I was limping for the rest of the tour, but it was still great fun. Yeah. So so the disclaimer is, kids out there, if you're a front man, David Lee Roth's a bad example to follow.
Yeah. Don't try to jump in and be David Lee Roth and do the kicks and the splits right away. Yeah, you got to work into it.
Yeah, well, I kept my sketches on.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have, if you're going to do that, you got to take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Because I slipped and it went down. My family jewels hit that floor, and I thought, oh, that didn't feel right.
No,
left leg literally went black by the end of the tour. Yeah, I was in Mexico. I was like, look at my legs, I'm like black all down
all thanks to Jump. Yeah,
Jump. Yeah, David Lee Roth. Yeah.
So make sure if you're watching that video, proceed with caution. Yeah, don't try this at home, as they say, right?
What a fit guy he was.
He sure was. Yeah, he sure was. Yeah. He's still out there doing it. I'm not so sure that he hasn't kind of become a parody of himself right now, but I mean, he's taking a lot of shots these days. But
I love David Lee Roth.
I do too. Yeah, as you can tell.
Yeah. If you look at, because on YouTube, there's like this thing of this like photo thing of him changing 3 years.
Yeah.
And if you look at the first one and you look at the last one, you've got Theo Von on the first one and Charlton Heston on the last.
Yeah, you do.
Good.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I don't think he ever claimed to be the best technical singer ever. You know what I mean? He was more of a front man and a showman or whatever, man. But, you know, he's out there now, God bless him, man, trying his hardest, man. But when you see some of these YouTube videos where they're taking his vocals, man, like right from the board and they're isolating them, not good.
He's got I love him.
But he's trying. Yeah, I love him too. Yeah, I love him too.
I know he's, you know, at his age he is now, you know.
Yeah.
But you listen to those Van Halen albums.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. I love watching his interviews. I love just going on YouTube sometimes and just going down the David Lee Roth rabbit hole and just listening to his rants and raves on life. And, you know what I mean? Like, he's a pretty interesting guy, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't let life live in. He lives life.
He does. Yeah. And so for people, before I let you out of here, for people that want to keep up with what's going on with you, with what's going on with cancer, I know, you know, you're not really huge into social media, but where's the best place to check out what's going on with you guys if fans want to find out?
Gosh. I think there's a Facebook, isn't there? Yeah. Facebook.
Is there an Instagram?
I don't know. Actually, I think my wife set me one up.
Okay.
You know, but I don't have anything to do. I mean, the first song, "Enter the Gates," is my personal kind of opinion and all that, and I don't really have time. You know,
I know it's hard. It's hard.
Difficult. So it takes me away from
living. Yeah, it takes you away from living.
Facebook isn't there, and you know, whenever there's something new out, Peaceville usually.
Yeah, you let them handle it, right? That's their job, kind of. And I say that all the time too, man. I think people think, there's people. First of all, people think because I have a podcast that I must be good with technology. And even though I know how to do this and get on and record these episodes and somehow put them on my YouTube channel, that's pretty much the limit of what I can do. I'm not technologically gifted. I just know how to do this podcast. But doing other stuff, I think people, it creates the perception that, wow, you have a podcast, you must be a whiz on the computer. And I'm not. And I, as I said earlier, I do 2 separate podcasts. I do the music one, and then I have a boxing one because I'm a big boxing fan. And a bunch of people have said to me, how come you don't have a separate Facebook and a separate Instagram for both of your podcasts? I promote them both through the same platform. I don't have time for all that. That's crazy to carry all these social media accounts. I'm going to have 2 separate ones for it's too much, man. I got a life to live. You spend your whole time on social media.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah. No.
One's plenty.
Less is more.
Less is more. I'm glad you said it. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Listen, man, I really enjoyed the conversation, man. I got your number, man. Please stay in touch, man. And you're always welcome, man. You always have a platform, man. I'd love to have you back on. Really, this was a lot of fun.
Okay, then. Great stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate you, John. Really, it was a pleasure, man. I'm a big fan, and I'm really glad I got the opportunity to talk to you, man.
All right, well, we'll speak again soon.
We'll do it again for sure, man. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, man. Happy New Year, brother.
And you.
All right. Later, my friend. Bye-bye. And there he goes, folks, the legendary John Walker, guitarist and vocalist of Cancer. That's a band, when you hear that name, as we said in the interview, you know what you're going to get. And what you're going to get is some brutal fucking death metal. They started in 1990. Their seminal, amazing debut album, To the Gory End, a landmark album in the death metal genre. This year, they dropped another one called Inverted World. You can go check that out wherever the hell you get your fucking music. Streaming it. You could probably go somewhere online and buy the physical copy if that's your cup of tea, whatever, man. But if you're a Cancer fan, they have new music out there, and you should go check it out. As I always say, here's my caveat again. Let me get on my soapbox here. Let me climb up on it. If you are a fan of these artists, be a good fan. Go to the websites or go find them on social media. I say it all the time. Get on mailing lists. Sign up for newsletters if they're available. Go see them live. Cop some merchandise, go cop the album, go stream the album, buy the album, whatever it is that you do, be a good fan. And these guys are out there grinding and hustling, bringing us the music. And especially when you're in rock and metal bands and you don't have huge mainstream success, these guys are schlepping around in buses or in vans. It's not a luxurious life, and they are sweating it out and bringing us this music in these little clubs, theaters, Granted, big festivals at times, but they are out there doing the damn thing. And if you're a good fan, really be a fan and support these guys, man. They're out there doing their thing, man. And really appreciate John Walker joining me today, man. I was really looking forward to it, man. It did not disappoint. Amazing conversation, fun guy to chop it up with, and I will definitely have him back on again. And as I said, go check out Inverted World. As I said, 10 songs, little over 44 minutes of blistering, amazing death metal, done the right way, done the Cancer way. They've never disappointed. Always fucking amazing albums. Shout out to my boy James Murphy, who I've had on here a couple times, man, who had a stint in that band as well. Just an amazing band, man. So go check them out. I'll give you the rundown one more time, give you the promotional spiel one more time. Make sure to tap into PodScum on Facebook. Again, our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. Same handle on Instagram, Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. And of course, if you're watching us here right now on YouTube, this is the place to be. Facebook, Instagram, yada, 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 all fine and well and good. And I definitely want you to tap in with us there. But if you want the full conversations, this is where you need to be. Tap in with us, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will be up to speed when those new episodes drop. As I said, we bring you something new every single week. I don't know what else to fucking say. That's that, man. Another great episode in the books. Again, I want to thank John Walker from Cancer for joining me today. 2026 is around the corner. Again, at the time of this recording, it is Tuesday, December 30th. New Year's is right around the corner. Probably will have already happened by the time this episode turns up on the channel. But Happy New Year to all you guys. I hope everybody's having a safe, happy, healthy, and blessed holiday season. I wish all you guys a Happy New Year, man. Stay safe out there, man. Until we get together and we do this thing again, this is your boy Reckless Rex reminding you all to take it easy and keep it sleazy.